All right. Hey guys, tonight's team call is all about success is not convenient. Tonight is February 5th, and it is the first team call of February. So thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your family, out of your day, out of your, out of your week, because I know sometimes our jobs and family and all that life gets stressful, and the last thing we want to do is show up on a Zoom when we just want to lay down in bed and kick on our PJs and turn on some smut TV and watch mindless television, right? But instead, you guys are showing up for yourself, for your business, and hanging out with us. So I applaud you. All right. So we're going to talk about success is not convenient. And I think this is going to be a great topic for not only us as coaches, but something that we could help implement help teach our challengers and our coaches moving forward. Because let's be honest, we have all been in this business, whether it's been over a day or not. We've all been in this business or a journey or have kids or have helped someone do something. And the second something starts to get difficult, what happens? Do they push harder? Do they keep going? Do they become driven? No. When you're like, we're all moms, right? When your kids first learned to start tying their shoe or walking or riding a bike, did you let them give up the second it started getting hard? When they got frustrated, when they're like, I can't do this, it's hard, I don't want to do it anymore, you can do it for me. No. And we surely didn't do it for them, right? We're like, no, you're going to keep practicing, you're going to keep trying, you're going to keep going. Because what happens when you keep going? What happens right past the toughness? It's when you actually succeed. So if we don't let our kids quit on something, why do we let ourselves quit? If we don't let our challengers give up on a program because it's too difficult or they don't have time to work out, why do we let ourselves? We here are supposed to be role models to our children, right? We don't tell them, oh, you can do your homework when it's convenient for you. Would you guys ever say that to your kids? Oh, okay, honey, you could do your homework when it's convenient for you. Sure, babe. Sure, you can go outside and play for 3 hours, and then right before bed, you can come and do your homework. If you have time. If not, don't worry about it. Would you ever, as a parent, say that to your children? My son over there just said, I would. Gage, he's in trouble. So if we wouldn't say that to our children, why do we let ourselves off the hook and say, it's okay, I'll get to it when it's convenient for me? Why do we do that to ourselves? When we're doing a workout, when we're doing our business hours, when we're supposed to we meal plan for the week and we're supposed to eat something on a Wednesday and we're not feeling like cooking, so we order pizza because it's convenient. Why do we do these things when we expect so much more out of our kids? But yet we're the ones supposed to be showing up saying, this is what I planned, this is what I'm working towards, and this is how I'm going to get it. We're not saying, oh, well, honey, I want to help pay the bills this month, but I'm not going to work my business. Let's go get McDonald's and let's go on this and let's go do this. And you don't have to do your homework either. So let's just go do these things that aren't going to get us to where we want to be. We don't do that. We don't do that because it's not realistic. We don't do that because we want the best for our kids, right? But don't we want the best for ourselves too? So we're all here for different reasons. We're all here for roughly the same reasons. To get healthier, to get out of debt, to have more freedom with our family, to have more freedom when it comes to traveling, to be able to do more things. For the community, to get fit, to feel good in our bodies, to help other people feel good, to help other people achieve all of these things. We're all here for different reasons. And all these reasons take work. They all take work and they all take consistent work. The truth is, whether we're talking about you being a challenger, because even though you're a coach, you should still always remain the biggest and best challenger in your challenge groups, right? So when it comes to you being a challenger and you as a coach, you have to put in more work. You have to work for it more than you want it. Do you get that? If you really want a tight tuchus, you have to work for it. even more than you want it. If you really want that income in your bank account, you have to work for it more than you want it. If you really want to love yourself and feel good and confident in the skin you're in, no matter what size shape you are at, you have to work for it, mentally and physically. Oftentimes, we find ourselves wanting something more than we're actually willing to put in the work. So I'm reading this book. Where'd it go? It's right here. I talked about it a couple team calls in a row. This book is freaking awesome. He talks so much about how people say they're trying. And maybe I talked about this on the last team call too when we did our power hour, but I'm going to reiterate it and talk about it a little bit right now. When he says, you know, when your kids say, I'm trying to do my homework, or I'm trying to read better, or I'm trying to work out more like you, I'm trying to work out more, or I'm trying to send out invites, or I'm trying to do my focus power hour, I'm trying to do this. What you're saying is you're unwilling. Because when you're saying you're trying, you're actually not putting in the effort. Because you're trying. You're actually giving yourself like a leeway, like an excuse. You're procrastinating on what it is that you need to do. But if you change that to I am willing or I am unwilling, that's either going to change your determination or your actions. So instead say, I am willing to send out those invites today. I am willing to share my story, my struggle on social media. I am willing to show up in my challenge groups. I am willing to eat better. I am willing to put down the candy bar. I am willing to do these things. Because what it is that you're after change. But we all know that we have to make the change in order for there to be a change, right? If we're struggling with our health, if we're struggling with debt, if we're struggling not being present in our family's life, if we're struggling and we feel alone, then we need to put in the work, to put in the effort when it's not convenient in order to gain these things, right? So I want you guys to think for a moment, and you guys could share in the chat if you want, or just think for a moment. So I want you to think about something big in your life where you were successful. Something huge happened. Maybe you moved into a house that you really liked. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe you were able to quit your job. Maybe you asked your husband to marry you. Maybe you came up with the idea of going on a family trip. Maybe you bought a new car. Whatever it is, something big, extravagant, like to you. It doesn't have to be the same as everybody, but something to you, okay? Does everyone have an idea, something big, exciting that came into their mind? Okay. Now I want you to ask yourself this. In that moment, or leading up to those moments, were you calm? Were you in your comfort zone? Did you're like, okay, everything's sailing my way, you know, everything's going good. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not working towards anything. Like, I'm just coasting. Were you coasting along when this great, grand, big, wonderful thing happened? Or were you focused? Were you working your ass off? Were you like dedicated to that thing? Like, how many of you guys are moms in here? Is everyone a mom in here? Okay, let's take having a baby, right? Having a baby, let's be honest, as a mom, being a mom, that's like the biggest reward in itself, right? Like, that's the one time in your life where you're like, love at first sight, right? Like I was dumbfounded when I found out the love that I had for my child. I'm like, is this even real? Like, I'm looking at this thing that I just met and I love it so much. Like, I just want to give it the world. Okay. So when you're having, whether you had an epidural, a C-section, natural, however you had it, hallelujah to all the births, but however you had it, you were focused, right? You were breathing. You were like in the moment. Nothing could distract you from that moment, even though you wanted to be focused on something else because of the pain or whatever. But you were so focused on that moment because after you put in that work of pushing out that baby, what did you get? You got your reward. You got that baby, right? You got to hold this big, beautiful baby boy or girl in your hands and the love and the snuggles and all that stuff, right? Same thing with everything else. Yes, not everything's going to be the best reward of your life where you're going to fall in love with it at first sight. I'm just using that as an example. You put in focused work. You were focused. You were determined. And here I have heard goals and dreams from a lot of you a lot of you watching the recording, a lot of you online, I've heard a lot of goals and dreams, where you want to be, where you want to take your family, where you want your life to be. But the thing is, if you look within your day-to-day life, are you putting in the actions that align with what your goals and dreams are? Or are you pushing them off? So let's be honest. When you really want something, you become relentless, right? Like, let's take it back. And I know I mentioned this like 6 months, maybe a year ago. Let's take it back when you were an 18-year-old girl. Maybe you had a job, as a waitress or barista or cashier of some sort, and you weren't making enough, and you really wanted to go to this concert, or you really wanted to go visit your friend out of the city, or you really wanted to go do something, but you didn't have the means to get by, right? I guarantee you, if you look back at your 18-year-old self, you found a way to get the money, to make it work, to go to the concert, to go buy those shoes, to go out with your friend. Yeah, see, you got a second job because you were relentless. Because back then when you're 18, nothing was standing in your way, right? Or maybe when you were 16 and you wanted to go to the concert, you're like, I'm going to the concert. And your parents are like, no, you're not. Well, you found a way out that window. I'm not saying sneaking out is a good thing, but you were relentless. Like way back when you had your mindset on something, you went for it. No ifs, ands, buts about it. But something happens when we grow up. Something happens when we grow up, when we start being responsible and we're paying all the bills and the debt's coming in and this is happening and woe is me and oh my gosh and everything's happening, that all that negative energy starts weighing us down. And our driven level, our determination, our relentless attitude starts shrinking, right? And then we just let stress take us over. We let this take us over. We let that take us over. We let self-doubt hold us back. Maybe we're doing really good on our fitness journey and we're like, oh, I'm nailing it. I'm losing 1-2 pounds a week. I'm doing so good. Super Bowl Sunday happens and you gorge. And then Monday you step on the scale and you're like, I went the opposite way than what happens on Tuesday. Well, you already gained a few pounds, so you might as well eat like garbage today, right? Come Wednesday, do the same thing. Thursday, do the same thing. Because you don't give yourself enough grace for that one day where you lived a little, you cheated a little, but you're going back into your own old habits. The same thing happens with your work ethic. Maybe last week you killed it. Maybe you were sending out invites. You were sharing your journey. You were messaging people. You were making new friends. And then because you didn't do it on Monday, today you're like, shh, now I have so many messages to return and I have so much to catch up on. I really don't want to do that. And come Friday, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even have a paycheck next week. Or I don't have anyone to communicate with. Or I have no new friends to talk to. I don't even know where to start. We do this all the time. And the thing is, it's because we let doubt, we let limitations, and we let obstacles hold us back now. It's weird because if you think about it, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when I think about my life, as I have grown up, I've noticed I've been afraid of more things and like more strong fears. When I was little, when I was Gage's age, my son's age, I would climb the back of our 50-foot elm tree in the backyard. I would get sap covered all over me. I would climb that thing so freaking high. It was awesome. Like I felt like I was on top of the world. Like, what's her name in Titanic where she's like on the thing. She's like, oh. Like I would like, that's how I felt. But now I look at it like a 10-foot tree when my son is trying to get up there and I'm like, nope, get down. Nope. Like, no, it's not happening. Nope, that's too tall. Nope. Or if I'm like on a roller coaster, I'm like, like I don't do heights anymore. Like as we get older, we let worry hold us back. Worry, because we're so focused on the what ifs, right? Like in business, we're worried, what if this person says no? What if I don't make income this week? What if I can't pay my bills? What if I don't hit Success Club? What if this? What if that? Same thing with our health and fitness. What if I don't lose weight? What if I don't feel good? What if I don't have a transformation to show everybody? What if I fail at coaching? What if I fail at being a challenger? We're so focused on these what ifs that we're using our energy to worry instead of using our energy to work. Does that sound about right? Hold on. I need to take a drink. I need to rehydrate for a minute. So if you have a goal, a dream, a why, you need to be relentless. We need to go back to our 18-year-old selves. We need to go back to our fearless selves. That 13-year-old that would love to climb trees, that would speed down the road and on her 10 speed so fast. We need to go back to having that heart, to where nothing stood in our way to where we wanted to be. You guys, I don't know about you, but I don't want to live a mediocre life. I don't want to. You know, when I was my heaviest, when I was 115 pounds heavier than I am now, before I had Gage, I thought that's how life was supposed to be. I thought your body was supposed to hurt when you walked around. I thought I was supposed to be out of breath all the time. I thought that I was supposed to get more non-sufficient funds than actually being able to pay all my bills and having money in the bank. Like, I felt like that was life. I felt everyone was supposed to be living like that. I didn't know that you were supposed to have anything extra after you paid all your stuff. I didn't know that you were supposed to feel energized all throughout the day. I didn't know what confidence was. I didn't know. And I think that is so common nowadays, especially because people are so used to living a life of mediocrity. We're living that life, whatever word that is. It's not even in my vocabulary anymore. That's why I don't even know how to say it. So if you do not want to live that life, if you want to live a life worth living, you have to be willing to show up. You have to be willing to put in the work. You can't put it on the back burner. You can't. We can't do that to ourselves anymore. We've done it time and time again, and guess what? It's got us nowhere, right? It's got us nowhere. Because if it has, we'd all be on a team call in Malibu or the Bahamas or Maui right now, and we'd be sipping Mai Tais on white sandy beaches, all loving the sunshine. But no, we're at home. We're freezing our tuckuses off. Or maybe we'd be in a winter resort in a hot tub. That's where we'd be. You will not achieve your goals if it's out of convenience. Nobody. Michael Phelps, did he go swimming? Did he practice swimming when it was convenient for him? No. Steve Jobs, did he study and research and do all the computer laboratory and IT stuff when it was convenient for him? Anybody else that you know that is successful in any area of their life, did they become successful because they only worked when it was convenient for them? No. You know, there's a lot of successful people in this world. A lot of successful people who had 1, 2, 3 jobs while working towards their passion. They had multiple jobs or multiple children or both while working towards their passion. And they were successful at it. So why can't we? You know, all these people that I read in all my books about them being successful and them having all their struggles, they're no different than you and I. They just stopped with the worry, they stopped with the doubts, and they started being relentless. That's what it was. We can no longer make excuses for ourselves. Because the more we make excuses for ourselves, the more we are excusing our behavior. When we're saying, it is okay that I did not do this today because of this. When you give yourself an excuse, you're saying, it is okay that I did not reach for my dreams today. That's a tough pill to swallow if you say it like that, right? Oh, I didn't get to work out today because it was cold and yada, yada, yada. Basically, is what I'm saying is, I don't deserve to feel good in my body. I don't want to achieve the health I want to be in, or the healthy body I want to be in. We cannot do the excuses anymore. We have to make schedules. And this, way back in the day when I went to my first summit, Shalene Johnson nailed it on the head. She's like, you guys should schedule everything. And yes, she even put in the SEX word in there. She's like, you guys need to schedule everything that's important to you, everything that's a priority to you. Because if you don't schedule it, you're going to go past it. You're going to, if it's not written down somewhere, you're going to forget about it. You schedule everything like a doctor's appointment, because chances are you're not going to miss that doctor's appointment. And when you write a schedule, you got to stick to it. So if you're going to say you're going to work out this time, Monday through Friday, work out that time, Monday through Friday. If you're going to do your power hour Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., do it those times. Yes, I understand that there's going to be times where you need to be a little bit flexible. But here's the thing. Don't give an excuse. Don't give yourself an excuse. Don't say, okay, well, we have an actual doctor's appointment at 8 a.m., so I can't get in my 8 a.m. workout, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not just going to do it. No, you're going to schedule it again for 3 p.m. or whatever you make work for you, right? You have to stick with it. You have to be relentless on your goals. Your goals are your goals for a purpose. Your goals are aligned with your why, and your why is why you're here. And the best way to do that is have accountability. Reach out and grab somebody, your upline, a buddy on the team, anybody. Have accountability, because that is huge, because you could have someone calling you on your shit. Yes, sometimes we all need a little bit of loving tough, right? Or we just need somebody to be like, you know what? I just need a cheerleader, or we all are motivated a different way. So whatever you need, reach out and say, this is what I need, and you will get that. Sometimes you need to think of it as no plan B. I know we did a whole team call about being no plan B, right? I probably cried my face off back then. But you have to act as if there's no plan B. You think of your dreams, you think of your goals. These are your dreams and your goals, right? The only way you're going to be able to achieve them is through plan A, and this is plan A. So whatever that is, feeling your best self, feeling healthy and no cholesterol and no high blood pressure and no stress and no anxiety and no depression. How are you going to get there? Well, that's plan A. How are you going to get out of debt? Plan A. How are you going to get freedom to do and be wherever you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want? That's plan A. There is no plan B. And sometimes you have to go on survivor mode. Now, I was able to work my business and be consistent even through hard times, because I think I've always had that survivor mentality, because I always felt like, my mom used to borrow money from me. So I was never one of those kids that, hey mom, can I borrow some money? Because my mom, when I first became a coach, my mom used to work at this newspaper called the Everett Herald. It was a newspaper. She was a plant person. And then they sold the company. So my mom felt like she worked there for so long, and she felt like, no one's going to hire a 60-year-old woman that is, all she knows is newspapers, because everything's online now. So she felt like her whole independence was taken away from her. So she lived with me, so I took care of her. But when it came time for me to pay the bills, and my income was getting short or whatever, like I didn't have anyone to lean on. I didn't have anything else. All I had is myself and my actions. And that is how I made it work. Because sometimes you have to think like, if I want to get out of this, if I want to get off this struggle bus, it's up to me, right? Because it is up to us. We can't look for happiness with anybody else. We can't look for health within anybody else. We can't expect our financial desires from anybody else, right? It's up to us. Life is meant to be lived, to say yes more, to do more, to give more, and to be more. I'm doing a financial money mentality makeover course right now. And one of the things she talks about is like, I know this is a little off course, but bear with me. One of the things she talks about is, imagine your dream income. What would you like to be making every week? Or what would you like to be making every month? And this week's homework assignment was, okay, well, create your ideal budget. So you create your ideal budget. And she writes like, what kind of things would you do with this money? And then at the end, she's like, what kind of things could you, like, how could you give? Not just give with your money, like in charity, but like, what kind of things would you be able to give because of this money? And I sat there and I thought about it and I was like, well, you know, I used to fundraise for March of Babies for a really long time. My niece was born 10 weeks early and was in the NICU for 3 months. So March of Babies have always been my jam. Since, you know, Gage was little, he would march with me. Like we'd all wear purple and we'd do this thing. But ever since I moved, I stopped doing that. But then besides that charity, they do these little like potlucks and volunteer work everywhere. And they get together, they take time away from doing their work, from their jobs, and they go and they help, they help do like projects and stuff at community centers, or there's Habitat of Humanity, or you can go to literally a different country, help build houses for people that don't have houses, or there's all these things that you can give, like whether you're serving or giving or just being present, you know, going to senior homes and being present, being like adopt a grandparent, you know, like you could do all these things where you're able to give to other people. And I sat there and I'm like, because I don't know about like, I'm only saying my side, because I don't know how you guys feel on this, but when I'm in the lack mentality, when I'm struggling financially, when I'm struggling with self-doubt, the last thing I want to do is give. And that may sound selfish of me, but it's really hard to focus on giving when I feel like I don't have anything. Does that make sense? So imagine if you felt abundantly full in all areas of your life. How would that help you in your family? How would that help you in your business? How would that help you in your heart? Like if you were so full that you're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to take half a day and I'm going to go spend it over here. I'm going to go to the Humane Society and go play with some puppies today that need some love on. I'd probably take a few home, but like imagine being so full that you can just give freely whenever you wanted and not have that stress, that burden, that scarcity in your heart, in your head. And the way we get there is through work, is through consistent work, is through showing up. It's through being there even when we struggle with it, right? So I'm here to tell you that being successful is not hard. It takes hard work. It takes consistent effort. You need to show up, and you need to show up every day. Not when it's convenient for you, because that will never pay off. And if you're struggling with doubt, if you're struggling with limitations, if you're struggling with anxiety, depression, anything that's putting more weight on you that you can carry, then the things that you need to focus on and the things that you need to be consistent about is mental health, is meditating, prayer, journaling, reading personal development. Find something that works for you, that sinks in, because you cannot pour from your cup if yours is not full. And our job here is to fill our cups so we can fill others, to help others fill their cups, right? That's all I have. Short and sweet. Maybe short. It was short. Okay, let's see what you guys. Failure is not an option. There are bumps in the road, but climbing over those bumps is the best part of the road to success. Absolutely, Christine. I love that. Graduated from college with a nursing degree. Yes, Tracy. That was your big moment that you shared? And you put in hard work to do that, huh? Are you unmuting yourself? I was just reading these. I heard it is on the, yeah, Karen, that book is on Audible. Apparently he has a really strong accent. Some people say they love hearing him talk. Others say it's really hard because of his accent. I haven't heard it yet, but I mean, I read it in my head with an accent, but it's not a Scottish accent like he is actually. I'm horrible at accents. Some of mine sounds Australian, but I mean, it's still fine either way. So that's that. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, it took you time to get past the accent. Yeah. That's understandable. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hopping on, and thank you for watching the recording. I should have said that first, but we're ending the recording.